What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I wanna play some audio from Jason Whitlock, some statements Jason Whitlock made when he's referring to LeBron James and how LeBron James basically his career has been a script, right? And he also says that LeBron James had absolutely no chance to catch Michael Jordan as far as in that GOAT debate, right? And the the more and more we, I always felt and agreed with what Jason Whitlock said, right? I always felt like that. But I think it's becoming more and more obvious the longer that LeBron James play. I had to turn my volume down a little bit. So the longer LeBron James play, it's just becoming more and more obvious. And I've been talking to people, and they're just looking at the situation, and it's just so obvious when you have ex basketball players and fans, everybody saying that Michael Jordan is definitely not the GOAT, right? I mean, LeBron James is definitely not the GOAT, nowhere near close to being the GOAT. So if that's the case, and people are still some people are just figuring out, some people knew it the whole time. So what is the point? Like what has been the goal of this um like this charade, as far as putting LeBron James in the same conversation with Michael Jordan? And I think it was all a setup, all a script, right? It's all to be able to make money and really to make money off of LeBron James in some way. Now, if LeBron James had a played, and I think that, in my opinion, I think that LeBron James kind of he didn't play to his potential, right? So if LeBron James had a play to his potential, and uh he would have put more effort into it, and wouldn't have load managed, and would not have taken days off or flopped and stuff like that, or try to set himself up on teams that were, then I think this humiliation wouldn't, he probably there probably would still be a price to pay, but it wouldn't be like this, as far as like trying to publicly humiliate LeBron James in order for LeBron James, for the powers to be able to capitalize off of LeBron James, right? Um, once LeBron James came to the league, and they said that he was the next face of the league, and I don't think LeBron James felt like he needed to work. They gave him everything, and he didn't have to earn everything, right? And so that put them in a position where, as though, all right, we gotta be able to capitalize on LeBron James one way or another. And so they created this fake narrative, in my opinion. Also, I think Jason Whitlock agrees, because with this audio that I'm getting ready to play, it says the same. He basically said the same thing. Like it's a fake narrative in order to generate the attention, which generates money, clicks, and views, and things like that. But in doing that, it humiliates LeBron James, and it puts him in a position where he has to defend points that he know that he can't defend, and it makes him look like a fool, basically. So let me play what Jason Whitlock has to say about the LeBron James situation, and then I'm come back and give some more of my input.
Media does. It lies and propagandizes and installs icons. The LeBron James, I'm just talking about these last 6-7 years in Los Angeles, been a psyop. It's been a script. It hasn't been based in reality. This man has exited the first round of the playoffs multiple times while a Los Angeles Laker. This man has played with Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic and got one bubble title, a bubble title, when they were the COVID title. No fans. The NBA, desperate for relevancy and ratings, allowed the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James to win a bubble title. Other than that, it's been an abject failure.
And see, I agree with that, right? Because what happened was the NBA had no Which I don't even really want to say that. I just think that the NBA, they chose to continue to promote and sell LeBron James. They could have switched, you know what I mean? They could have switched lanes and went the direction of celebrating and promoting Steph Curry. Because Steph Curry was more of the tradition of the guys who played old school. He stayed with the same team for his entire career. He won 4 rings, and so they could have switched. But I don't know if they felt like they had too much invested in him, so they had to continue to this charade as far as having LeBron James be the GOAT. When a lot of people would say that Steph Curry had a better career, a more storybook type career than LeBron James at the especially at the professional level. So let's continue though.
And it's all been about LeBron stat padding and chasing Michael Jordan. And they have to sell you the myth. You're watching history. This is unbelievable. LeBron James is going to surpass Michael Jordan. That's never been a possibility. Pretty much after the first season in Miami, when LeBron wet his pants against Dirk Nowitzki and the Dallas Mavericks.
All right, so let me and see this. I've made this point too in previous videos. Once LeBron James left Cleveland, I thought that I didn't think it was over with when he went to Miami, but that game and what was that 2011 when like Jason Whitlock said, LeBron James wet his pants and he let Jason Terry and the Dallas Mavericks just really just take him out of his game, make him quit. Basically, that game really hurt his legacy. But I thought that LeBron James, had he stayed with the Miami Heat and Pat Riley, I thought that at that time maybe they could have rehabilitated his image, right? If he'd have stayed there, I think he could have recovered. Because if you think about all of the propaganda and all of the promotion that has gone into creating a narrative around LeBron James, that was just one incident, right? And I think they would have been able to basically sweep that under the rug. Now, will he have been able to catch Michael Jordan? Probably not, because he's never been the kind of player who had that killer instinct, right? Michael Jordan just had too many iconic moments throughout his career. And LeBron James wouldn't have been, he was never able to compete with that, so they had to find a way to make LeBron James or put him in that argument with Michael Jordan, and it stat padding and longevity. That's what they had to go on, and so they changed the narrative, but fans didn't buy into it. People who know and love basketball and had an opportunity to see some of the greats play, they definitely didn't buy into it from the beginning. Now, when you think about young fans who are watching basketball now, and you see guys like Shea Gilgeous play, you see guys like Victor Wembanyama play, I think those guys are going to expose also to the fact that and Brunson, I don't want to leave Brunson out, but they're going to expose the fact, make it more obvious that this LeBron James thing was like Jason Whitlock says, like a psyop. It was a script. It was a narrative created by the powers to be to continue this notion that LeBron James deserves to be in the same conversation with Michael Jordan. But it's all fake, and it's definitely not going to stand up. And I think that they know this. I think they don't care about LeBron James's his legacy. It's just that they're going to make LeBron James pay for basically getting taking all this money and basically just laying down on the job. And that's the sad part about it, right? Like on any other job, you get a job and you don't perform up to standards, you can get fired. But you're dealing with much more powerful entities, and the way that LeBron James has represented the NBA over the years, I think that it kind of rubbed I think it rubbed people the wrong way, because he didn't give his all, and it's obvious to people who love basketball that he never gave his all. You got this guy going into his 24th year, man, and he's playing and look like he's been basically injury free for the most part, and he looked like he's like in year 10, the way he's moving out there. So everybody else was, by the time they got to the end of their career, they was broke down and just looked like a shell of themselves. But not LeBron James, man. This dude. So yeah, it was a setup, because LeBron James made it obvious from early jump that he wasn't going to work like Kobe and Mike and Larry and Magic. He wasn't going to play the game like those guys, right? And so now, once the NBA got in bed with LeBron James, they had to continue to sell that narrative. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, man, I'm going to check y'all out in the next video. Peace.